Stephen A. Smith is back with us live from MSG, and Paul George said there's no level of concern. So what's your reaction to how the Clippers have lost the first two games at home to Luka and the Mavs?
Well, first of all, Ty Lue and Paul George, two guys I love and respect, need to stop lying to the American public. Of course, there's a reason for concern. They got spanked by the Dallas Mavericks in 2 games. Luka Doncic has been giving it to them, okay? He's been embarrassing them, literally shooting threes off of one of his legs, for crying out loud. And they're handing it to them. They're whipping their you-know-what. And in the end, what it comes down to is what Brian Wintour said. Not so much about Ty Lue because he just got there as the head coach. He was assistant last year under Doc Rivers, but he's the head coach this year. This is about Kawhi Leonard. To a lesser degree, Paul George, but most certainly Kawhi Leonard. He was the one with the crown dangling from his convertible with the New Balance commercials, claiming there's a new king that arrived in L.A. He was the champion. He was a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. You got a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference semifinals last year. You get bounced. Luka gave it to you in the bubble before you got bounced. And then this year, the playoffs come around, and you're down to 0-2. And oh, by the way, you had the Clippers basically mortgage their future to get the player you wanted in Paul George. I'm not saying that Paul George has no culpability, nor anyone else, but this is on Kawhi Leonard. What you gonna do when Luka is coming after you? Because he's done it. And the bottom line is, you better figure out a way to do something about it. Clearly, 41 points wasn't enough. You got to figure out something else.
Yeah, especially when you're the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year here now. And when we take a look at this team, they got to go to Dallas. They've lost 5 straight. The opposite vibe in L.A. is with the Lakers. After they even their series with the Suns, with LeBron and AD combining for 57 points. How do you view the Lakers now after watching the duo take control down the stretch?
I'm still worried about them, and they're very, very lucky that Chris Paul has been compromised with that injured shoulder. Because I'm telling you, Phoenix could have easily won that game last night. Cameron Payne came off the bench, played exceptionally well. DeAndre Ayton is shooting better than 87% from the field. You look at Devin Booker, he is a superstar in this league. And you look at the young Lions that they've got. They're quicker, they're faster, they're more aggressive with fresher legs. The difference is that the Lakers have LeBron and AD and experience. And Andre Drummond being on that front line obviously helped with him, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James for them to patrol the paint and essentially turn the Phoenix Suns into perimeter shooters. That's the strategy they're going to have to employ, along with dictating tempo, using LeBron James and Dennis Schroeder to do it in order to win this series. And even then, I think it's going to be tight. Phoenix is an impressive bunch, exceptionally well coached. They have no fear whatsoever. They just don't have that experienced floor general in Chris Paul, 100% healthy. The Lakers are very, very lucky. That's their situation right now. They should win this series, but it ain't going to be easy.
Here's the stat to keep in mind the rest of the way in this series. The Lakers are now 6-0 in the postseason following a loss with LeBron on the team. All right, now last night, the Nets' big three. They dominated the Celtics to take a 2-0 lead in their series. Here's Kyrie after the game on, returning to Boston for Game 3.
I mean, it's not my first time being an opponent in Boston. So, I'm just looking forward to competing with my teammates. And, hopefully we can just keep it strictly basketball. There's no belligerence or any racism going on, subtle racism and people yelling from the crowd. But even if it is, it's part of the nature of the game, and we're just going to focus on what we can control. I'm not the only one that could attest to this, but it's just, it won't. It is what it is.
Kyrie's not shy in speaking out, Stephen A. What's your reaction to what he had to say last night?
That he was wrong for bringing it up. As a black man, I can tell you that, of course, I've seen racist behavior in the city of Boston. I've also seen it in a multitude of other NBA cities and what have you. And as it pertains to Kyrie Irving specifically, this was not the time or the place to bring that up because it's not applicable to him per se. The Boston Celtic fans can't stand him because on October 4th of 2018, with Brian Scalabrine hosting a little talk-through with the fans, Kyrie Irving sat next to Gordon Hayward and next to Al Horford, stood up and said, "I'm re-signing with you all if you have me," and then skipped town. well, that would be a reason why Boston Celtic fans don't like you. So when you look at it from that perspective, again, as a black man, I'm here to tell you that it isn't a black man that's been to Boston that can't tell you that something like that has happened. But it's a phenomenal sports town. If you go there and you're a Celtic, they embrace you. If you love the Celtics, they embrace you. If you don't love the Celtics, they can't stand you. They treat you like it, particularly when you're an individual who played for their team and decided to leave but lied to them about staying before you left. That's the situation right now. And so I would tell you that even though he's not completely inaccurate, I thought it was wrong and inappropriate to bring that up in this particular situation because Boston Celtic fans actually did not deserve that when it comes to him because his blackness didn't have much to do with them throwing vitriol in his direction. It's the fact that he was supposed to stay and he wanted out and he left after telling them he would stay. Kyrie has to own that. It's very simple. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.